Hello, Internet! So, I just saw this play yesterday. It's called An Almost Perfect Thing. It's about this girl who's kidnapped when she's about 10 years old, and after 6 years, she manages to escape. But in the meantime, she has developed Stockholm Syndrome for her captor. 6 years trapped in the basement of a lunatic, only allowed to talk to him, only allowed to know what he tells you. That's gotta do things to your mind. Once she finally gets out, and after 2 weeks of therapy and police interviews in which she says nothing, she finally takes her story to the journalist who originally covered her kidnapping. He is obsessed with finding out what happened because he was only left with half a story and he wants to know what he missed. And he wants to catch the crazy who did this. But in the 6 years that she was down in that basement, she learned all of the techniques that her captor used to control her, and she uses them on the journalist. And she will only do the interviews if they are in an 8-week column in the newspaper every Saturday. Because she knows that this journalist really wants to get her story. And if you know what a person really wants, you can control them. The story then embarks on a narrative about the media and really makes you wonder, of the information that we're given, how much is withheld? The staging of the play is in 3 main parts. On the left, there's the journalist's room, in which the interviews take place. Center stage, there's the bedroom, in which she spent her 6 years, and on the right, there's the upper story of the house in which she was held, which she eventually is allowed to visit. As the girl relives her story, she switches from the journalist's room to the bedroom to the upper floor, all the while switching conversations between the journalist, her captor, and then back again. There are scenes where she's acting out what's going on in her basement room, where she's screaming, terrified, or beating on the door, and she tells the journalist that she was sitting calmly on the bed because she's much too clever to have been scared. It really speaks to all of us who hasn't embellished a story to make themselves look better, braver, smarter, and it really makes you wonder how much of what we know about other people is actually true. How much about what our friends, our family, our colleagues think about us is actually accurate. And then there's the journalist himself. He's lonely. He's spent his whole life working on his career, and now there's no one around to share it with. He sees people every day who say hi, exchange pleasantries, make small talk, and then wander off, forgetting that he exists. When this huge story comes along, it's his chance to be noticed, for people to take an interest in what he's doing, what's going on in his life. Who doesn't want to be noticed, to catch people's attention, to be loved? And the kidnapper? He's been starved for attention since childhood. If someone had just noticed, taken an interest in his life, they could have gotten him the psychiatric help that he clearly needs. As the story progresses, we learn what happened to this girl, how she fell in love with her captor, and why she finally left. And as she opens up, as she tells her story to one person, she kind of transferred the obsession she had with her captor over to this guy, the journalist. And that just adds a whole nother level of crazy to the whole story. Now, I'm not going to tell you how it ends because that would be cheating. Only that it leaves you with a lot of questions. Questions you may not want the answers to. Anyway, please answer this down in the comments. Have you ever been to a play that someone's cell phone doesn't go off? Because I have been to at least 10 shows in the past year, and at some point someone's cell phone goes off at least once. Anywho, see ya. Do you want to come down to my basement? I'll give you a radio. March's creepy Doctor Who background is an ood. Look at those glowy eyes. Oh my goodness, so creepy. Ah!